close your eyes and imagine you're from the best friends of the King of England. And in his heyday, he was somebody special. He was rich, he was powerful, and he had a lot of money. The King of England had a treasure room in the basement of his palace. He had gold, he had silver, diamonds, pearls, paintings, antiquities. Millions and millions and billions of dollars worth. He had it all stored in this one room, the treasury, the treasure room. There was actually a diving board in the treasure room that he could jump off of and dive into the gold coins. Wow. It was just unbelievable.
That's fancy.
And you, being his good friend, he invited you one day to the palace. You received the summons. And you come to the palace and he says, Rabbi Yankel, my dear friend, I would like to give you a present out of the goodness of my heart. Rabbi Yankel, my dear friend, you've been with me, good times and the bad, through trials and tribulations, and I would like to repay you by giving you 2 minutes in my room to take as much as you want.
The treasure.
Your room, dear Highness? That room? Full of gold and silver?
Treasure.
And all of the valuables of this kingdom? That room that nobody is allowed into except for your Highness himself. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take whatever I want for 2 minutes. Yes, let's go. And they go down to the room, to the treasury, and his heart is racing, this Rabbi Yankel, and he goes in, we're in the room. Wow, mesmerized by the sight, the gold, the silver. Look at that painting. That color blue just comes out of that painting. It's gorgeous. And what are all of those strokes and colors? There's orange, there's green, there's yellow, brown, red, all splotched together. What is it? It must be worth millions. Look at those diamonds. All of a sudden, Rabbi Yankel feels a hand on his shoulder. Your time's up. I didn't take anything. I'm sorry.
Time's out.
Your time's up. A similar story once happened to me, by the way.
You were in the king's treasure house?
Well, for a 10-year-old boy, it was a king's treasure house. I'll tell you what happened. I think I once said this story. I'm not sure if I was bound to remember this.
That camper.
That's right. But for those who didn't hear it, very similar story. In camp one year, it was actually my first year in camp. I was going into 5th grade.
Is this a Gouda?
Well, yeah, let's leave the names out.
Okay. Leave the names out for a second.
So they had a benching contest. And the winner of the benching contest was going to win 2 minutes free in the canteen. Take all you want. You never heard this story before?
This is like amazing.
Sam remembers it. I remember my blood racing through
the veins.
Yeah,
10-year-old veins.
pumping. Oh, I gotta win. And of course, the winner of benching is always the kid that screams his head off, right? The loudest that he can possibly muster.
Whoa.
How loud his voice. And I was only in 4th grade at the time. 1 year after I graduated from the shir of my Rabbi, the Rav Shlita.
Wow.
And I was in camp, and I knew I was going to bench the loudest, And I did. I screamed my head off. You can't imagine how loud I screamed. And I had a pretty loud voice back then too. And then Rabbi, somebody,
yes.
Somebody, he says, and the winner of benching is, and everybody's like quiet, who's going to win this contest? Hashem, please. I've never asked for anything else besides I want this, please. Tzvi Heber!
Halevi.
You can't imagine the thrill and enjoyment of winning that benching contest.
How excited
Sam knows the rest of the story. I don't say it here. I could tell you that my head, for the rest of camp, I couldn't get into sports. I couldn't get into anything. I was just thinking strategy. How should I go into that canteen? Which treat should I take? Should it be the Laffy Taffies? Should it be the super snacks? Should I take everything? Should I take the drinks? Maybe they're going to fry French fries. You never know. And I'm going to be in there at the time, and I'll be able to get that. And I have a good idea. Maybe I should just walk in there, open every single package that there is in the canteen, then they won't be able to sell it anymore, and they'll have to give it to me.
Wow. Interesting.
Stroke of genius. So what did you end up doing?
Okay, the end of the story is not important. But I'll tell you, we're coming to the last days before Shavuos. We're coming to the Chag HaShavuos. In Pasuk steht, Nechmodim mizov umi pozrav. Torah is more precious. It's more desirable than zav and gold and pozrav and these great pearls and treasures and whatever. Umisugi midvash. And it's sweeter than any of the greatest treats in the world. For a 10-year-old boy, believe it or not, Torah is nechmad mizav mipazrav umsukim idvash v'noifes tzuvim. And we're coming to the day of Matan Torah, and we're preparing ourselves for Matan Torah. We only have one little opportunity. And we have to strategize. We have to work on a plan. We're in the last third of the Sfiras Omer. After Lag BaOmer is that 17 days Torah. We have to prepare ourselves. How are we going to prepare ourselves for this great revelation called Matan Torah? The Gemara in Shabbos says that in the times when Hashem gave the Torah, how many years ago was it?
3,324
years
something
ago.
like that. Yep.
With every dibur, with every word that came out of the Aseret Dibros, the neshamas jumped out of the guf. It was such a revelation. It was so powerful. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The Michtav Meliyahu notes, and Sfasama says it also, that some people think that Shavuos, on Shavuos, what is Chag HaShavuos? We commemorate Matan Torah. Those people are inaccurate. They're not describing Shavuos properly. We're not commemorating. So other people say that no, we're not only commemorating, we're not remembering a time of Matan Torah, we're reliving it. And I'll tell you that's also not so accurate. I'll tell you what it really is. We're reliving that experience. Ein kol chodosh tachas hashemesh. Right? L'kol zman va'es tachas hashemayim. There's a time and a place. Kol zman va'es, time, place. Things are finite, physical. Tachas hashemayim. They're bound by barriers, by restrictions. Tachas hashemayim, in this world, aval l'mala min hashemayim, but up in Hashem's world, in the real world, there's no zman, there's no ace, So how do we say Zman Matan Torah Seinu on Chag HaShavuos? There's no Zman Matan Torah Seinu. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. There's no time that the Torah was given. It exists. Matan Torah exists constantly. It's all, history is like spread out in front of the Rabbanu Shalom. It exists all at one time. Right? You just point there, point there. We're like that. Shavuos is like that treasury. Shavuos is like that canteen. It's a store. It's there. But just like in a store, you can only go during operating hours. So similarly on Shavuos, you only get the key during operating hours. You can't walk in when the store is closed. You won't be able. Yeah, you can look through the window. You can see the stuff. It's there. It is there. The Torah is there. It awaits. But you can't get there. You can't get inside.
You need a password.
You need the key. You need the key. You need it to be open. What happens on Shavuos is that Hashem opens the door and says, Olam, you have 2 minutes inside. Take whatever you want. And I'll tell you, what's talk of the pshat. If that's all true, then Matan Torah is not something that we commemorate or that we even relive. It's not. It's something that's constant. There's no difference between the Hisoris, the revelation that existed in the times when the Torah was actually given, and Vav Sivan, which is coming this year. There's no difference because there's no then and now. There just is. You get access. What is the difference then? Why then did they have this great powerful revelation, and today we struggle? Should I tell you the answer? The answer is, because just like in a store, if you go shopping, you put all of the boxes of cereal and delicious treats in your cart, and you go to the checkout counter, and they say to you, okay, it's going to cost you $212.37, and you say, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, miss, I forgot my wallet at home. Can I just take it and I'll come back later and pay?
Unlikely.
Sorry.
Not allowed.
Not allowed. Not allowed. Not at any self-respecting store. Right? If we don't come prepared, if we don't come with the money, then we can't buy anything. Yeah, of course we'll enjoy it. It's a nice sight. Walking it, you ever take a tour in a big supermarket like Sobeys? A couple weeks ago I took a group of yeshiva bachrim and explained it. It's beautiful. You can look at it. You can try to understand it even. You can study it. You can learn about it. But if you can't eat it, then you won't enjoy it to its fullest extent. And you can't eat it unless you buy it. And you can't buy it unless you prepare. Really, Shavuot, the whole idea of Shavuot is so abstract. It's not, on Pesach, you prepare for Pesach. I know how to prepare for Pesach. I'm sure you know how to prepare for Pesach. Right? So, you got to build a sukkah, you got to buy a lulav and so you prepare. Shavuos, Matan Torah, right? What are we supposed to, right? Here, give me. Where do you prepare? Like, here, let me prepare a basket. So you put the Torah inside. Like, what are you supposed to prepare? It's like so not tangible.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Oh, there. I forgot about the cheesecake. You're right. My wife is already cooking. There you go. But what are you preparing? And the answer is that's all Shavuos is. Shavuos is about how much you prepare. What do you think? We didn't reach the greatest level of all time on Pesach already? We went out of Yetzias Mitzrayim. We went into Kriyas Yamsuf. We already saw what Yechezkel ben Buzi didn't even see in the Maisa Merkava. We know what it is already. We've gotten there. Right? We've signed on the dotted line. But you can't get married unless you prepare. Right? There's not actually a lot to do during a chasana. Right? All you got to do is, you see, even like the Hareya Mekudeshesli or what?
There's some people that would argue with that statement.
There's nothing to do at a chasana. You go through it. It's nothing to actually do. The only thing to do is to prepare for the chasana so that it actually can exist. At a chasana, the chasana can sit back and enjoy the ride. All you got to do is put the ring on her finger. There's nothing to do. Something that you have to do at a chasana. You got to prepare. You got to make sure everything's in the right place. There's tons and tons to prepare. And similarly, we have to prepare our midos. We have to prepare ourselves. We have to prepare and get ready to be Makabel the Torah. And therefore, I'd just like to speak about, maybe it's not such a traditional kind of a shir, but I'd like to speak about the idea of preparing for Matan Torah. And one of the ideas of preparation, certainly there are many aspects of preparing, but I'd like to speak about one particular vital, crucial prerequisite that is necessary for us to meet before being zoiche, meriting the Kabbalah Sotah. And that is the idea of Vayichan Shom Yisrael Neged Achar Ki Ish Echad B'Lev Echad. Before Matan Torah, the pasuk says that the Bnei Yisrael camped outside the mountain, but it doesn't refer to them in plural. It refers to them only in singular. It doesn't say Vayachanu. It says Vayichan. They camped there, Neged Achar. Well, the Ki Ish Echad B'Lev Echad. Very nice drasha. They were like one. It was a singular. Vayichan. Very beautiful drasha. But why specifically now? Why Neged Achar? Opposite the mountain, it has to be Ki Ish Echad B'Lev Echad. Weist ois must be that in order to have Matan Torah, we first need Ki Ish Echad B'Lev Echad. We first need to reach a level of Bein Adam L'Chaveroi where we view ourselves as one. And like we've explained many times in this year, certainly, the reason why we're one, is because we are one. We're one. Right. Our friends are not that person that everybody calls them. Rather, they're a neshama. They're a chelik elokai mima. And so are we. We're a neshama, chelik elokai mima. And just like the Rabbi Shalom is one, so therefore it must be that we are all one. We're just different fragments who, in this world, externally appear to be segregated individuals, separate, defined by each other's, by everybody's individual guf and personality. But we are in essence one. We believe that we're a chelek elokai mima. The Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, who is the one that is honored? Who is the one that is mechubad? Mish mechabed es acherim. Somebody who honors other people. He's the one who is mechubad. Shenamar, ki mechabdai achabed. Because the people who honor me, I will honor. So, what do you mean? Who is the one who is honorable? The one who honors other people. Because it says in the pasuk, because the people who honor me, I will honor. How are you honoring me? You're honoring other people. Elamai. When a person honors other people, they're honoring Hashem. How so? Because when you look at another person like your friend, like somebody else, so then why should I honor him? But if I look at him as an extension of myself, in fact, I don't look at him as an extension of myself, I look at us all as a group, as an extension of the Rabbi Shalom, then I'm honoring Hashem. It's not, he could be the biggest loser. He could have harmed me. He could have done terrible things. But he's still a chelek elokai mima. He's still b'shvili nivra ha'olam. Everybody has to say B'shvili Nivra Olam. What does that mean? That means that for every person the world was created, even that guy. Which means, if I look at him as who he really is, the neshama, his essence, the chelak Elokai mimal, and I honor him because he's an extension of the Rabbeinu Shalom, then I'm honoring Hashem. Ki mechabda yachabed. And the mela ezo mechabed mish mechabed sacherim. Obviously, the avodah of Sfiras Omer somehow intertwines with the idea of Rabbi Akiva's Talmidim, right? When you keep Sfira till Lag BaOmer, after Lag BaOmer, from Rosh Chodesh, there's people keeping Sfira every single day from Pesach till you keep Sfira, right? From Pesach, you even call it Sfira. And one has nothing to do with the other. I mean, this happens to be the time Rabbi Akiva's Talmidim died, and this happens to be the time of getting ready for Shavuos, Sfiras Omer, right? It's nothing to do with Rabbi Akiva's Talmidim.
No, Rabbi Akiva, yeah, not Rabbi, yeah,
Rabbi Akiva's Talmidim.
Right.
Nothing to do with that. Elamai, it has a lot to do with that. It must be that the avodah, the primary avodah of these days, is to work on a kapara for them. Why did they die? Shlo nagu kavod zeh b'zeh, the Gemara tells us. They didn't honor each other properly. They didn't see the chelak Elokai mimal in each other. They didn't see the other. They saw him as competition. They didn't see him as the Rabbeinu Shalom, and that we're all contributing to one. The idea of Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ha'ar is crucial, fundamental to our preparation for the Chag HaShavuos. The Orgedal Yo, in one of his sichas in Lag BaOmer, he says, hey, it's actually a sicha for Pesach Sheni, says that the avodah of Pesach is avodah of a kalal, of everybody as one unit. Pesach hu avodah mitzad haklal. The korban Pesach nechshav, the korban tzibur. He says bringing the korban Pesach is the korban tzibur. It's not a korban yachid. Everybody has to eat it together, right? To eat them together. And he says, "V'yimei hasvira hu avodah mitzad hayachid." The days of svira is when you flip that over and you work on yourself as an individual. Right? It's interesting. We don't make, just by Kiddush, you make one Kiddush for everybody, but by Sfiras Omer, everybody is to count. Everybody individually. And that's why Mitam Zeh Meisu Talmidei Rabbi Akiva B'mei HaSfira. That's why the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva died. Ki be'iskam kol echad b'inyonav ha'pratim lo yishkichu zeh al zeh. Because each one was occupied in their own in their own life, in their own advancement, and they didn't think about one another. And that's how they came but to not honor one another. So, what is he saying? He doesn't finish the sentence, but he's saying that the idea of the Yemei Svira is to work on ourselves as individuals to be able to be part of the klal. It says, "Ini Yemei Svira k'ma klal u'pradu klal. Shepesach hu klal. Yemei Svira hu prat. U'v'shvuos chazer v'klal. And Shvuos, everybody comes together. Vayichan sham Yisrael Neged Ha'ar. It's like klal u'pradu klal. What does the Bryce of Rabbi Yishmael say about a klal u'pradu klal? Kifi havoidas ha'adam b'mei svira kein hu zeicha la'ara b'chag ha'shvuos. I atadon ela kein ha'prat. Right? Klal u'pradu klal. I atadon ela kein ha'prat. The way that you're going to be judged is the way that you acted in the b'mei svira. When you were working on yourself, when you took the time, right, just like engagement, The couple's not together yet. Each person has to work themselves as individuals in order to come to that level of marriage where they can work together as a family. But first you got to work on yourself, your midos, in order to prepare yourself to work together. Iyatadon ela ke'ein haprat. According to the preparation of the Yemei Asbira, that's how we're going to have a Shavuos. You have to prepare. I heard from Ephraim Waxman a beautiful word. He says that Azog, he says, some people think that Bein Adam L'Chaveroi is like how well you behave. Like somebody with great manners is Bein Adam L'Chaveroi, right? He's very, right? If you behave very well to somebody, you can be very polite. You have good manners. He says that's not it. It's not an act. It's not an act. It's to see the Rabbi Shalom in your friend and truly to give him kavod.
Right.
And truly to honor him. To truly see him as just your yad. As an extension of your hand. Real, not fake. Beautiful Maisa with the Satmar Rebbe. That's a friend of mine told me. I didn't verify the facts, but I'm sure it's true. The Rebbe, not only was he a Rebbe and a guide for a huge Talmud Chacham, the Rebbe Rabbi Yoel, but he also gave out tzedakahs. People lined up at his door. He gave out tzedakahs. He was got with tzedakah for it. And one day, a fellow comes in, tells him a terrible story, the sorrows that he was going through. He needs money. His wife is ill. She's going to die. He needs money for an operation. How much do you need? $30,000. $30,000. I'd love to give you money, but my tzedakah, the rules are that I can't give you more than the $500, the maximum. But of course, I'm going to give you that maximum, $500. He says, Rabbi, thank you so much. My wife, she's ill. It's the only chance, the operation, $30,000. He's walking out, and the Rebbe says, wait! And he calls to the fellow, pulls out his money, his wallet, opens it up. He's got another $100 in there. Hands it, take all the money I have. He says, Rabbi, thank you so much. Turns around, starts walking out the door. He says, wait! Comes back. He says, oh, I forgot. Take my gold watch that's in my drawer. I gosh, and whatever. Take it, sell it. I'll get you another $2,000. I have altogether some money. I can't help you more. I don't know what to say. You're so kind. You're so nice to me. Thank you so much. He walks out the door. All of a sudden, the Rebbe hears a banging on the door. Rebbe! Yeah? Rebbe! The fellow that just ran out of here! He's a ganef! What do you mean? His wife is not sick! I know him! He's been scamming the people! So the Rebbe says, what did you say? He's a ganef! His wife is not sick! Says the Rebbe, that's amazing news! That's the best news I've heard all day! He says, what? I just told you he ripped you off. He took your watch. He took your money. Cleaned you out. His wife's not sick.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. His wife's not sick.
You have to be the Rabbi. It's a level.
What is that? What is that? Most of us, get him. He's a ganef. Get him. Attack him. Get the money back. That's how we react. He didn't give him that money because he gave him because he was concerned about his wife and his event. He didn't care about the money. He cared about the health of the fellow and his wife. And when he learned that the health of the fellow and his wife wasn't, that's bein adam l'chaveroi. That's real bein adam. That's not an act. That's not manners. He tricked me. That's bein adam l'chaveroi in its true essence.
It's the real deal.
That's one nakuda of bein adam l'chaveru. To always really, to learn how to really appreciate your friends. To really view him as an extension of you. Or her. It's not a fake, it's not a game, it's not an act. You're not going to get schar for being a good actor. You got to learn from the Satmar Rebbe. Another nakuda that I'd like to bring out, their point in bein adam l'chaveru and preparing for the Yom Matan Torah, is to always look at the good in someone else. There's always going to be some bad. He did this to me, he said that about me. Tainas. He's better than... There's always going to be something special about somebody that we can look up to, that we can find. When we look at a person, we have to train ourselves. It's very difficult. By the way, this bein adam l'chaveru, I don't know about you, maybe you're different.
Oh, yes.
I can only speak about me. And it's the most difficult of any avodah.
Yeah.
You know, not getting angry? Ha! It's easy. Not being jealous? Ha! Simple.
Yeah.
Appreciating your friend.
Well,
That's tough. Having an ayin toiv, looking at him in a positive way.
good eye.
That's very difficult. It's not easy. It's not easy. You might know the story of Reb Shlomo Freifeld. Reb Shlomo Freifeld was the Rosh Yeshiva of
Shar Yashuv.
Shar Yoshuv.
Far Rockaway.
Yeshiva in Far Rockaway. He built a community, amazing. My wife happens to be from that neighborhood, and I get to frequent that yeshiva very often.
Wow.
I consider myself lucky.
Yeah.
He's no longer around. I didn't know him, but the yeshiva lives on.
Very much alive.
The yeshiva of Shar Yoshuv was not a typical yeshiva for the best boys. It was a yeshiva that attracted lots of interesting kinds of bachrim. People couldn't necessarily find themselves elsewhere. Anyway, so the story goes, true story, the fellow is still alive, he can speak about it, lives in Yerushalayim, tells a story about himself in the 70s, maybe it was the late 60s, who knows, I don't remember exactly when it was. And he was a hippie.
Long hair.
He had grown up from, wasn't so interested, and became what they called a hippie. Didn't have any place to live.
Peace and love guy.
What?
Peace and love guy.
Yeah, exactly. Peace and love guy. Didn't have anywhere to live. Needed a job. Had traveled around the world. Was looking for a job. He needed some money.
Yeah, he looked like a Nazir though. He had long
Yeah, he
hair.
had long hair. All of a sudden, he sees in the paper
Caretaker.
a job available. Where did you hear the story?
I forget who told it to me. Continue.
There's a job of a janitor. Okay, janitor, why not? I'll work hard. Hey, minimum wage, fine. Yeshiva Shar Yoshuv. So he walks into the yeshiva with his long hair and his jeans, whatever. And he says, I want to apply for the job. Which job? Janitor job. Oh, come, let's meet the Rosh Yeshiva. He's the one hiring for the janitor. So he sits down. Shlomo Freifeld, Rosh Yeshiva. He'd like to make everyone feel good. I heard, not in the context of this story, but he used to have like a bottle under his desk. He could pull it out, so the boys should feel a little comfortable when they came to meet him. And fine, it was okay. You want to be the jan? What job? Tells him a little bit about himself. He's a Jewish guy. Where'd you come from? Oh, I grew up in an Orthodox family. What happened? I wasn't so interested. Fine. So he says, I have a job for you. He says, okay, I'm ready to start. He says, you're going to be a Magid Shir. I'm looking for a Rabbi. For a few students that are having a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, need extra
You
help.
learned Gemara when you were younger. You're a perfect Rabbi for them. Okay? And you can't start today. Start on Wednesday. Fine. Give you a couple days to prepare.
Yes.
There you go.
Looking for
I didn't know what to do. I mean, we needed the money. So he says, okay, fine. So prepares. He didn't feel so comfortable walking into the class without a kippah, so he put on a kappa, a yarmulke. And he goes and he teaches the boys and starts. He learns. And this fellow today is a younger man living with a big mishpacha in Yerushalayim in Elfi. We're Freifeld, with the ability to look into the heart of a hippie, a Jewish boy who went off the derech, who came to apply for the janitor position and had the confidence in him and give him the job of a Maggid Shir, of a Rebbe in the yeshiva. He could look into the person and find his greatness to build others. That can only be done if we have the ability to take away our own wants, desires, natural drive to be the best and jealous of everybody else, and just concentrate on the yenim, the other guy, and how can I help him succeed, and how can I help him improve. I'll tell you an amazing word. It's in Parshas Tazria, and I only heard the word after Parshas Tazria. Did I tell you the word?
I don't think so.
I don't think
Tell
it's
you.
It's mamish an amazing word. It's about Turim in Parshas Tazria. You'll be blown away by this Baal Turim. If you haven't been blown away yet, there's still a couple more things that are going to blow you away tonight. What time is it?
We got time.
Yeah, great. The Baal Turim, even though this Chumash doesn't have a Baal Turim. The Baal Turim comments over here, when we talk about the Isha...
Do you want Migas Gedolas? Do you want me to get Migas
No,
Gedolas?
it's fine, I don't need. When we talk about the Isha HaYoledes in the beginning of Parashat Tazria,
Yeah.
she has to bring karbanos. She has to bring a chatas and an olah.
Yeah.
Right? So there's actually two choices, as there often is in a korban olah v'yored. You could either bring the standard korban, or you bring the birds. Shtei Taurim or Shnei Bnei Yonah. What are Taurim? What are Taurim? Anyone know?
Turtle doves?
Turtle doves.
Turtle doves.
Our school says turtle doves. Or you can have regular doves. Either turtle doves or regular.
I think the turtle doves are green.
You can afford them.
Turtle doves are green? Okay.
Little shell in there.
So either you get the...
Female. And
Yeah. Oh, Shtei Taurim or Shnei Bnei Yonah. See if you're right, turtle doves. Yeah, 2 turtle doves or 2 young doves. Fine. Any time in the Torah when it mentions these birds, it says Shtei Taurim or Shnei Bnei Yonah. First the Taurim, then the Bnei Yonah. But let's rewind a little bit. When it talks of what is the correct, or not the correct, but the rich man's korban for his wife who gives birth. So first of all, you have to bring a keves ben shnasa la'olah. You have to bring a sheep, 1-year-old sheep for the olah. And you have to bring a ben Yonah or tor l'chatos. And you bring one bird, a ben Yonah, a young dove, or a tor, a turtle dove. Amazing. Every other time in the Torah, it says tor before ben Yonah, turtle dove before young dove. But here, when it talks about the regular korban of the yoledes, it says ben Yonah or tor l'chatos. You bring a ben Yonah or tor. Says the Baal Turim, he really brings it from the Medrash. He says as follows. He says, listen to this. He says that normally you have to bring the tor before the ben Yonah. Why? Because the tor is more moral. Why? Because Torim find one mate. They have one spouse. Hear that?
Yeah.
Turtle doves have one spouse. Bnei Yonah, they have lots. They have lots. So when you bring your korban, it's better to bring a tor than a ben Yonah. Because okay, for sure, Nimshul Yisrael Yoina, yeah, for sure, that's Yoinas also have lots of great attributes. But if you have a choice, you bring a tar before a ben Yoina. And that's why the Torah always says, Shtei Toirim oy Shnei Bnei Yoina. First Toirim, then Bnei Yoina. So why, when we talk about the Ikr Korban of the Yoledes, does it say Ben Yoina and then Tar? It says the Balaturim, if you only have to take one bird, take the Ben Yoina and don't take the Tar. Why? Because if you take the Tar, then his wife is going to be Misabel Alav. She's going to mourn over him. Remember, they only have one partner. So she's stuck, an Aguna. Not going to be able to remarry.
Wow.
Mashen, can you take the Ben Yoina? Fine, so she'll have other partners. Fine, okay, life goes on. You know, I remember him. He was such a good guy. He was so nice to me. But life goes on. There'll be somebody else.
So only the Yona, the turtle, is not an option. Yes, the Yona.
It is an option, but if you have a choice,
Yes.
then you should first
So
bring.
why, if you bring a turtle because you have no choice for a Yona, it's not good.
No, you have
Because
to.
the turtle has only one mate.
Okay, you have to bring a car. It was not animal rights movement here. Okay, this is karbanos. But if you have a choice, then you should bring the tar, the ben Yoina first. Why? She'ishtay misabels. What sensitivity! The Torah is so sensitive that it will flip around. It's like, yeah, Chachmas HaTorah, we're talking about the Torah here. We're about to be makabel the Torah in a week, right? We're talking about the Torah here. Look how the Torah is medayik. You should first prefer to take a ben Yoina and it's an unbelievable, it's so powerful.
Wow.
It's so amazing. And if the Medrash doesn't finish like this, but I'll finish like this. And if the Torah was chas, had mercy on the Ishtoi Shel Tar, if the Torah had mercy on the wife of the Tar, and instructed us to prefer to take a ben Yoina, al achas, and was sensitive, and was kind, and was compassionate, al achas v'kama, we have to be sensitive to the needs of others. Don't do something if it's going to have an impact on Yenim, unless you're fully confident in what you're doing. Don't act in a rash way. Don't act when you're angry. Speak nicely. Be sensitive. Care about the other person. Omer Rabbi Akiva, v'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha, ze klal gadol b'Torah. See, v'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha is the klal gadol b'Torah. You want Torah. You want Shavuos. You want the Oitzer, the treasury. You want the canteen. You want to buy everything in the store. V'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha comes first. Let's be sensitive. Let us learn from the Satmar Rebbe how to truly be nice to somebody. Let us learn from Reb Shlomo Freifeld, Zecher Tzadik L'Vracha, how to see the good in people. Let us learn from the Torah, who's makdim ben Yoina to a tar, how to be sensitive and compassionate, and to consider the other person's feelings before our own. And if we do so, then we will fulfill that prerequisite of Vayichan, of V'ahavta l'reacha kamoicha, and we will be ready with all of the cash in our pocket, or even better yet, a credit card with no limit. And we'll be able to buy everything that we want in that choice. We need to arm ourselves. I want to conclude something from the Parsha. Something that I would like to say, which I believe ties the title of the shir to the shir. Forgive me, I have no right to say this, but hey, you guys gave me a forum, so why not?
That's right, why not?
There's an asifa on Sunday. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yes, there is. It's the internet.
Yeah.
It's happening this Sunday.
In City Field.
City Field.
There's an asifa, a gathering.
Yes.
There's going to be 40,000 people. I called myself. I know for a fact it was sold out. There's not a single ticket available. There's going to be 40,000 men that join together in an asifa to hear words of chizuk. I'm not sure exactly what's going to be said there. It's certainly going to be a strong gathering of Klal Yisrael together to awaken ourselves to what the Gedolim are calling the Nisoyun Hador, the test of the generation.
Oh yeah.
And that is this technology and the internet. And these Gedolim have much experience with the fallouts of people, the addiction, people who became mesmerized and have sunk into the depths of the depths, children who have gone off the derech because of it. And it's become such, the situation amongst in the frum community has become so exacerbated that it calls for a tremendous gathering to fight. I'm not sure if anybody knows what's actually going to happen. There is going to be live hookups in various different shuls in the city.
Where here?
I think in Thornhill I saw in Rabbi Biederman's shul.
Yeah?
If you want to go south, then Aguda is showing, I believe it starts at, look for the signs, but I believe it starts at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Sunday. So I'll clear your schedule. This Sunday. It's very, very, I just want to throw in my 2 cents here. Because it is an asifa, and it is Jewish people gathering together for the same cause. Listen to this. This week's parsha is Parshas B'chukotzai the Toichachas.
Oh boy.
The Klolis. Hashem rebukes us. Im lo yisishmu, malachtem imi bekeri. If you don't listen, if you sink to the depths, whether it's meinarim l'chaveroi, whether it's in your own personal struggles to keep clean.
Yeah.
I don't have to finish reading it. The clothes are here. It's here. Hashem doesn't mince words. They say it as it is. It's interesting. If you look in Musar Sefer from more than 60 years ago, if you do this, you're going to get Gehenna. I mean, they're very open. You're going to hell, and they tell they tell it as it is. Today, it's so flowery. Don't worry, it's going to be good. Yeah, you get good. No, and it's a true. It's just different angles of it, right? But they used to give it as it was.
What you see is what you get.
This is it. This is it. Check out this week's parsha.
It's all in there.
It's there.
And more.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Just a thought I had.
Yes.
I was reading this pasuk today. Right at the end of the Torah is when it really gets deep and desperate. If you don't listen to all of the punishments, Sheva, there's so many sevens that have already we've been pounded and beaten and exiled and starved, and our enemies are jumping all over us. If you don't listen to me, and I'm going to, it's in Pasuk Chav Zayin, Parak Chavav. I'm going to add another 7. What are the 7? So the first one's very horrible. You're going to eat the flesh of your children. And we know that this nevuah came true in the times of the destruction of the temple. And I'm going to destroy your bamos. Our scroll? I will destroy your lofty buildings. Sounds familiar?
It says, I will destroy your high places and decimate.
Yeah, well, he says lofty buildings.
Okay.
Okay, v'chrati es chamanechem, and decimate your son idols. V'nasati es pigrechem, I will cast your carcasses, al pigre glulechem, upon the carcasses of your idols. V'gola nafshi escha, and my spirit will reject you. And then it goes on and on. So what's this? I'm going to cast your carcasses upon the carcasses of your idol. Like, what kind of a description is that? What is that?
Very disturbing one.
What?
Very disturbing one.
Yeah, extremely.
Yeah.
So Rashi brings the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Listen to this Gemara. V'nasati es pigrechem, I'm going to put your carcasses, meaning the person's already dying. Tapuche ra'av hayu, they were swollen from starvation. Umotziim yirasam meichekom, and they would pull out their yirasam, their idols, from their pockets.
Their bosom, right?
Umenashkimosam, and they would kiss it. So imagine this. If a guy is about to die, he's in the he's died, he's wiped, he's finished, his life is over, he's swollen from hunger, he's in a desperate situation. He's about to he's supposed to be saying now, Shema Yisrael Hashem, you've done so much, I've gone through so many tzaras, at least it should be a kapara for my averas. What does he do?
Kisses the idol.
He pulls out his idol, Yimutziim Yerushalayim, right, the handheld, the idol, handheld idol that he has there, right?
That's right. They call it various names, yeah.
Yeah. Mechekon, from his pocket, right? The pocket one. Umenashkemoisam. He starts kissing it. The kreslin of kas, and his stomach explodes from starvation of the neufel allow. And that's what the pasuk means when it says that the carcass is going to fall on the carcasses, because right when they're about to die, they pull out the idol and they fall on the idol. I don't understand. What is that?
What is that?
There's no other description of falling on an idol. Maybe the person is aiming at you and shooting you, and then you fall back on your idol. I mean, where does the Gemara get this from? Like, you're about to die, your stomach's exploding, you can't. Oh, my idol, mama, I love you. Instead of saying Shema Yisrael, you're kissing your idol. What's going on? It's the weirdest thing. It's not weird.
Got a text message. Wow.
What?
Just before you die, there's a text message.
Isn't it weird?
You got to get the.
Isn't it weird?
An email.
Isn't this weird? Is this weird?
It's very weird.
This is strange. Who does this? Who does that? You're desperate. You're starving. You're dead. What's going on here? You're pulling out your idol. And how did Chazal know that from the pasuk? It doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say one thing. I'm no expert. Just maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But the message is still the message. You know, for adult viewing only, please. We all know. All of the smart people out there have told us that people suffer from addiction.
Huge.
Addiction. I think some people at the table have something to say about this. Me, as the ignoramus, will just give my own 2 cents. Addiction. What is addiction? What's addiction? When somebody becomes addicted to something, it won't make sense anymore. You destroy your own life. You'll destroy your relationships. You'll destroy your family. You'll destroy your career. You'll lose all of your money just to have that addiction that makes no sense, that provides no fulfillment, that is completely empty. And yet, somehow, Hashem created this challenge in the human psyche called addiction. It's a sickness, it's a challenge, it's a taiva, whatever it is. Who knows? Leave it to the experts to explain exactly what it is. But there's something called addiction. What happens to the person? He becomes completely occupied in it until he just can't. What happens? It becomes part of him. I think the experts say you can't always expect that the person will recover.
Yeah.
You can't always expect. Why? Everybody can do tshuva. What do you mean you can't expect? Why can't he recover? What's wrong?
Because it's him.
It became him. He's no longer the him before. He's enveloped in somebody else. Something has taken a hold, grabbed hold of his essence, of his being. Possessed him. And it's him. So I don't know if that makes him. I don't know if it doesn't. Whatever it is, that's what it is. Chazal knew. I don't know if they had the handheld idols in their pocket, or they didn't have the handheld idols in the pocket, or there was small size, big idols.
Analogy.
What does that mean? It means it was him. They took it out of him. It was him. It was in their pocket. He couldn't leave it. Not when he was starving. Not when he was dying. Not when he took it out and he kissed it. He couldn't help it anymore. It became part of him. And v'nosatias bigreichem until the day that he died. V'nosatias bigreichem al pigrei giluleichem. The carcasses fell on top of the other carcass, of that being that exists. The Gemara says we'll never know what the taiva of avodah zarah was, the inclination, the evil, and the yetzer hara called avodah zarah. We can never even know. There was the story in Sanhedrin of a group of Amoraim who were talking about Menashe, who was the big the king.
They couldn't figure out lechem. They couldn't have
and one came to him in a dream, and he said, "Had you been and living in my days, you would have ran after that of
lifted up your toga things and run after it."
Unbelievable. We don't know. We can't judge. We don't know. We can't judge people. We can't judge anything.
We don't know.
We don't know. But it's so dangerous, and it's a slippery slope. There's an asifa where people are gathering Kaddish Shem Shemayim. I don't know how well known it is. I know, where I hang out, it's very well known.
When they're Israel, it's big.
People are talking about it.
For a number of weeks.
But we have to. There's only one Eitzah, and that's everybody grab hold of the closest person. Just hold on to each other and let's daven together and just pray that this incredible challenge that perhaps matches the challenge of the Avodah Zarah that was in those times. That we should be able to overcome the challenge with Mesiras Nefesh Mamish. Drop it! Finished! Cold turkey! Speak to your rabbi for details. Otherwise, we run the risk of v'nasatias pigreichem al pigrei guleichem. Mavel. What is going on over here? It makes no sense. This whole thing makes no sense. But I think it talks to us a little bit in our generation.